can't stop thinking about the tongue. Hold on. I forgot what I was gonna say. Okay. Para comenzar, quiero decir que estoy muy agradecido que puedo ver este año, que estoy viviendo en este momento. Sí, estoy muy agradecido que estoy en el siguiente año, 2025. Yeah, I've been meaning to make this video for a long time, but yeah, I've kind of been caught up with school and whatnot. Like, I've really, I should have been editing the video by now, but footage was so terrible last week, so yeah. Also, don't mind the hair. Like, dreadhead stuff. So I think the main goal for a lot of us language learners and aspiring polyglots is to get to that C1, C2 level, that advanced level, that fluent level, where you can just say that you're fluent. You know what I'm saying? You can speak easily. It's not a problem. Some people think this is possible through only 3 months and a lot of free time that they mention in Fluent, while others think that it takes years or even decades of dedicated language learning. But what if I was here to tell you that fluency is not as far or as close as you think? What if I told you that you're looking at fluency all wrong? ¿Qué lo que mi gente? ¿Cómo están todos? My name is Aiden, pero en español me llamo Adin. And in this video, I'm going to reinterpret what fluency really is, whether you should be actively worrying about your language skills or even questioning your progress. Furthermore, I want to give a few tips that I've personally learned and kind of, absorbed into my personal language learning process, my language learning method, that have increased my proficiency by a lot, by this much. Okay. Continuing on that, I want to use my journey of Spanish to help some of the points come across in this video. Low-key, before y'all start joining me and clowning me in the comments, I was very scared. It's like, my first video that I'm actually making. Yeah, and I speak with these pauses in English too. It's just a brain thing. My brain moves very fast. Yeah. Hola, me llamo Adin, soy de los Estados Unidos, tengo 16 años y llevo aprendiendo este idioma para 3 años. Ahora, sí, 3 años. Es que aprendí este idioma porque, pues, la razón principal es que no logré aprender francés. Sí, pero, además de eso, aprendí este idioma porque, de verdad, yo aprendiendo este idioma desde era niño, pero como un niño no lo aprendí seriamente. Entonces, y las clases de español no me ayudaron mucho. Era cuando me enteré que tenía familia que habla español, fue cuando me di cuenta que debo que estudiar este idioma, ¿no? Porque ya tengo familia, así que va a ser más fácil. I hope that did not get into the audio. Oh my gosh. Excuse me. Ok, ya lo vi. La familia. Pues sí, decidió aprender el idioma seriamente. Y 3 años después, aquí yo soy. ¿Qué más? Sigue aprendiendo español porque la música, sobre todo, porque yo soy un músico. La comida de Latinoamérica es muy suculenta y exquisita. Supongo que el baile, pero no baile mucho. Así que es un aspecto que no son mucho. A través de aprender este idioma, hay muchos amigos de toda Latinoamérica, muchos amigos de la RD y Colombia, porque tienen los dialectos y acentos que quiero aprender. Viajé afuera del país, a Honduras, y logré mantener una conversación con los nativos que no saben nada de inglés, así que no sé cómo yo hice, porque no sabía mucho a la vez. pero sí, la vida. Sí, es mi historia con español. Oh! ¿Aún está grabando? Okay. A lot of people reach a plateau when it comes to getting out of that B1 and B2 level. So I hope that this video allows you to maybe even see a different perspective, or if you've heard a lot of the stuff in this video, it's a sign. Without further ado, vamos al video. So first off, what even is fluency? That's a good question. I know. I'm gonna look it up on Google. Google. Google defines fluency as the ability to speak or write a foreign language easily and accurately. I would like to say this is my definition too, more or less. For my own journey, I think there's like two perspectives to fluency that I've had. And the first one is kind of like a very strict and very old school mindset, I'd probably say. Like very heavy on grammar. And if you don't know all these grammar points, you suck. You really suck. And you're never going to be fluent. Okay. A bit of an exaggeration, but it was kind of like that. Like I was a perfectionist when it comes to language learning. Is that a bad thing or is it a good thing? I don't know. In my early years of language learning, I really tried to get all the grammar points, which, I mean, if you know language is never going to be that easy where you can understand almost everything. So I spent the earlier years of my language learning pretty much just on the hunt for every single grammar point that I could come across with Spanish. Y de verdad, hay algunos conceptos en español que ya no sé. Pero, so yeah, it really kind of demotivated me when I like heard stuff or pretty much just foreign constructions. It really demotivated me when I heard certain constructions in Spanish that I was just like, what the hell is that? But I took the mindset out of my head and I got my head out of the textbooks and the notebooks. Oh my gosh, I see these notebooks right now. But it was the moment that I did all of that and started focusing really just on understanding the gist, understanding the feeling, because at the end of the day, that's what communication is, understanding the feeling. So it was the moment that I started understanding and expressing myself better. Eso, mi pan, es cuando empecé a volverme un poquito más fluido. Okay, so the real question is, should we really be worrying about all of this? Is fluency really the goal? That's a dumb question. Wait. The real question is, should you be worrying about your fluency? Like, could you be recording yourself every 3 months to see if you suck or not? If you're not a YouTuber, no. But in reality, the answer is kind of gray. It's not really that black or white, because I would say that if you're learning language for a casual reason, like say you have a friend that speaks the language, or you know what I'm saying, there's a few co-workers in your job that speak that certain language, I would say that you don't really have to learn it to fluency, because it's not that much of a deal. Now say it might be for a more serious reason, like say being an interpreter, or maybe even honing up on your skills because you want to do a summer application, or you want to do a summer program that is going to take up most of your summer, but you kind of want to do it because it's something that you're interested in and you think will be really important to your development. Or even say you're studying abroad and you kind of just want to be able to understand people. I feel like there's different levels of fluency, or there's different requirements of fluency when it comes to different things. You get what I'm saying? But for my reasons, I've said before, I really just like the culture. The culture is pretty cool and I want to, you know what I'm saying, dive deeper into it. Por eso, cuando dejé de esperar ser fluido, mi humor mejoró bastante. Creo que mis habilidades de conversar y entender desarrollan mucho mientras hice amigos y aprendí más de la cultura de Latinoamérica. Really, at the end of the day, you might just need to trust the process with whatever you're doing. At the end of the day, I say if you're putting in a consistent grind and you're really, you know what I'm saying, just putting in work, you're going to get there. So I don't think worrying about being fluent is that much of a need, especially when the need for fluency really varies. So I think the most important part, especially when you're at an intermediate level, when you already understand concepts and how the language works on the inside, the next step is to learn more words and vocab, to understand more of the language. The best way to do that is through input. I could make a video about input, but until I do that, which it might be regarding another language I'm learning, but until then, there's a crap ton of videos that input, especially comprehensible input. So right now, I'll give a few specific tips on ways you can refine your input intake. So let's get into it. Now, I don't know where I've seen it, but it was a video one time, and I think the thumbnail was like 1,000 hours of I don't know what language he was learning, but it just said he had done like 1,000 hours of input throughout the whole year. And you know what I'm saying, being the high school student I am, being the scholar that I am, guys, I decided to put that in a calculator, and it turns out that's 2 to 3 hours a day. Is that right, calculator? Don't lie to me. But yeah, that's 2 to 3 hours a day. I don't have that kind of time. As a scholar that's also taking AP classes, that is also in band and trying to be the next freaking William Bilal, I ain't even gonna hold you. And on top of not trying to suck at soccer, it's just, I don't have that type of time. We don't have that type of time around here. And I'm sure a lot of you are going through something similar when it comes to either, say, work or school, or it might be other hobbies or challenges that you are, you know what I'm saying, doing right now, or that's, you know what I'm saying, occupying your time. Keep a low goal, a low minimum. Keep a low goal that you can hit consistently just about every day. Okay, I think the problem that most people get is that they set themselves with a goal that they have never tried before. Or I wouldn't say they never tried before, but I'll say that they have not realized how hard it is to hit that goal every single day. That's why a lot of people quit language learning. That's why a lot of people really just quit stuff in totality. Yeah, you heard me say T, so I had to say something. But yeah, so for me right now, well, actually let's talk about before. So before, like last year, I decided that, you know what I'm saying, I want to have at least an hour every single day, keyword every single day, that I want to have an hour of input in all the languages. Do you realize how tedious that is? Because I was learning, well, no, I started thinking about Portuguese during the summer. I was kind of thinking which language I was going to learn next, so that kind of doesn't count, or it kind of does count. But yeah, I was starting to get ready for Portuguese. By the end of the year, I was doing I was basically demanding 2 hours of input, which, like I said in the further thing, I didn't have that kind of time. I would love to show you guys the chart, but it's embarrassing, so I'm not going to yet. I will show you guys the exact data that I have for last year. It's embarrassing. So yeah, right now I am doing about 10 minutes a day with each language. So that's a bit more reasonable, especially when you're getting like a lot of languages done. You can be sure that that's something you're going to achieve every day, because it's light work. It's light work. You don't want to underestimate how much your goal is, how much your goal is going to take, but you also don't want to overestimate how much it is either, to where you're not making any progress because you're being too in your comfort zone. So I think 10 minutes for me is really good, because I mean, you can really watch just even one video. I really recommend the YouTuber Words and Days. He made a really good video on this kind of topic about making goals and setting long-term goals that you know you'll hit. It was kind of for like New Year's, like a New Year, New Me kind of resolution thing, but I still think it can really be used in any context, even outside of language learning. So I would really check out that video. I might link it in the description. Moving forward, the basic rule for input, or the best way to get input, is living your life in the language, if that makes sense. Living your everyday life with the language constantly there. Now, I'm not saying to book the earliest flights to go to rural Germany so that you can learn German in like 2 days. That's not what I'm saying. flying over and immersion actually in the country is really good. I would say definitely, it's definitely the best method, but maybe your speaking's not good, or your understanding or comprehension is not good yet, or even if you just don't have the money, it's, you know what I'm saying, not really plausible. So I want to give a few ways, I think only about this much. 3 ways as to how you can make the language pop up more in your life. First, change your devices to your target language. So for me, I have my phone in Portuguese because I am learning Portuguese. Estou a aprender português. I have this up here. As you can see, my phone is in Portuguese for the most part. And yeah, I've been kind of using it to just make myself realize that I have to lock in. This ain't no joke. You're locked in. You're going to learn this language. I think it really just gives you motivation, especially when you start to understand what certain words are in the phone. Number 2, get your social media, or start looking at more social media and content in your target language. So for most humans, unfortunately nowadays, everybody's on their phone. You know what I'm saying? It's always that gosh darn phone. But you know the saying, if you can't beat it, join it. Or if you can't beat them, join them. If you can't combat the problem head on, why don't you just finesse the problem? Especially because, you know, it's just helping your input, you know what I'm saying? Besides, people would rather look at like what reels in Spanish. I feel like I personally would rather look at my Instagram reels in Spanish compared to whatever textbook I have laying around here. I swear I have like that old textbook. I don't know. So yeah, having your Instagram in Spanish, or even say your YouTube. Oh, YouTube is really important. I should have said that first. Having your YouTube channels in the language is really where how you're gonna find like videos or even long form content that you can just like play and just look at. You know what I'm saying? It's really gonna help your input, because people be on YouTube, if I remember. If not, then Instagram. If not, then somehow TikTok. Even though TikTok users, I'm sorry, it's getting banned. I don't know what to say. It might get banned. I'm sorry. But yeah, I think that's a good way to finesse the system, is making social media at least just a tad bit less of a waste of time. And finally, I want to address active input versus passive input. I think I've seen this before.
Have you played these games before?
If not, I think it was more about active language learning versus passive language learning, which I feel like was kind of saying that it's active versus passive input is kind of like an umbrella off of that topic. So active input, I would like to say it's more like being meticulous about what you're looking at, and you know what I'm saying, analyzing every single word, every single concept, and making sure that you understand it before you move on. While passive input is just, you know what I'm saying, a relaxed, laid back, you know what I'm saying, just watching and seeing what you know. Not really caring about if you understand what you're looking at 100% of the time. I think what people need to understand is that there are differences between those two. So for active input, I would say that it's more taxing, especially if you're really just not motivated that one day you just, oh man, I can't do it. Like, it's really just taxing to look at active input. However, passive input, you may not just understand it at all, and you might just be comfortable with like, oh, I don't know what that is. I don't care to know what that is. So there has to be a balance between the two. So me personally, I kinda do passive input throughout the day, especially when I'm at school, if I have time, which I think I might have time this semester. Funny enough, while active input, I'll probably be doing when I get home, because surprisingly enough, I don't have practice no more. Well, that's kind of a lie, but I don't have practice that long, if that makes sense. I think what I'm trying to say here is that make sure that you find that balance, that equilibrium between passive and active input, and you'll be able to have more progress and more time in that language. So I think this is the end of the video. So I think I've just about explained everything that I can for this topic, for this idea. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you didn't, let me know what you really want to see with this channel in the comments below. I really just want this to be kind of a chill, laid back language learning channel where you get to see a polyglot in the making. I think the goal when it comes to my polyglot status is that I want to be able to speak 5 languages by the time I graduate, and I guess you could say I'm halfway there. I speak Spanish. Espero que yo hable español. But yeah, I speak Spanish. I'm learning Portuguese, and I'd say it's very similar to Spanish, so I'm gonna get there eventually. There's a mystery language, which I'll kind of show eventually. And I have 2 other languages, or really there's the 2 language slots. Well, I guess they're kind of up for grabs, but I do kind of have an idea of what I want to do. With that being said, asegúrate de darle un like, compartir con tus amigos, y activar notificaciones. And for the first time, hasta el próximo video.